Denver Broncos because they did everything they needed to do to be in position to win that ball game. But the Chiefs, they continue to show all of us they can win in different ways. Today wasn't your best effort from Pat Mahomes. He made timely plays. Your defense made timely plays as well, but you were still on the cusp of losing. But guess what? The special teams, they were like, hey, we're still here. We know how to play ball as well. Great effort by the teams unit for the Chiefs in that last field goal attempt.
Chiefs get to 9-0. They win for the 15th straight time dating back to Christmas of last year and the loss to the Raiders. Chiefs 16, Broncos 14, and it is a 7th straight win for the Chiefs when they've been trailing in the second half. BMAC certainly feels like when things like this happen, a team of destiny. But man, if you're a Chiefs fan, like how many times can you play with fire and expect to pull it out of the hat in the end?
Well, the thing about the Chiefs, you continue to play with fire because you're a great team. A great team, they display two different flashes. Good flashes, great flashes. In both cases, that's winning football. And that's what we've seen from the Chiefs week in and week out. They may not wow you with their style of play in terms of fashion, but the ultimate thing that they focus in on, the end goal, having more points than your opponents. Today, their offense only scored 16 points. But who cares when the opposing offense, they only scored 14 points. So for the Chiefs, this is why you have to consider them the best team in the National Football League because they know.
Okay. We got to stop here, man. This is just the definition of nonsense right here. I mean, oh my God. I love how we have to twist everything in knots to make it look like that the Kansas City Chiefs were a good team and played good that game. When Patrick Mahomes was literally outdueled by rookie quarterback Bo Nix. You know, the quarterback that a lot of people acted like he wasn't that good of a quarterback, right? We all know Nick Wright was laughing and celebrating that the Denver Broncos drafted Bo Nix, saying that Sean Payton is a bad coach now and is not that great and is living off of his days of the Saints, saying that the Broncos are a bottom team in the NFL with a bottom quarterback. He said that Bo Nix was going to be the third best quarterback in the quarterback room. And Bo Nix goes 22 for 30, 215 yards, 7.2 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, and a 115 passer rating. Mahomes was 28 for 42, 6.3 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, and 92 passer rating. The Chiefs were 7 for 16 on third down. The Broncos were 7 for 13. They held KC to rushing only 57. Listen. Do we want to credit the special teams for getting that blocked field goal? We can absolutely do that. Absolutely. But we also know those types of plays are like 1 in 1,000, right? Like it's such a rarity. And if you're relying on winning games like that, where you have to win in overtime against the Buccaneers, who are decimated by injuries, you have to rely on a blocked field goal with 1 second left, okay, up against the Broncos, the team that Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs have owned for years and years and years, against a rookie quarterback. Look what the Baltimore Ravens did to the Denver Broncos. So miss me with all of this nonsense, because that is exactly what it is. This story is about the Denver Broncos here and what they've been able to accomplish, what they've been able to do, how great Bo Nix has been. I mean, they've relied on Bo Nix to step up. The trust that Sean Payton showed, having him throw on all those third downs and make big plays, even when he fumbles the snap and the way how he grounds it. I mean, just smart, high level, high IQ football, right? The defense stepped up big time, right? Don't make this about the Kansas City Chiefs not playing good. This was the Denver Broncos stepping up defensively big time. They were swarming on Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes was uncomfortable the entire day. So, I mean, my God, it's so funny to watch that game and then try to twist it in as a hero's journey for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. You know what this is so identical to what happened to the Philadelphia Eagles in 2023. They kept winning even though they were not playing good. And you had some people who were like, the actual smart people were like, this does not look good. This does not look good. But they kept winning, and so you had other people who were like, they find a way to win. They find a way to win. This is what they do. And then what happened to them? Yeah, it didn't end out too well for them, did it? And that is exactly what's happening with the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's just so funny. I think it's the mob mentality of the Chiefs fans that like make these people feel that if they say anything remotely, you know, not just 100% positive about the Kansas City Chiefs, that they'll just be, you know, attacked. Mob mentality. But it's pretty hilarious at this point. If you're a Denver Broncos fan, you should be through the roof with excitement, right? Because the Kansas City Chiefs are a good team. They're not awful. They're not an awful team. And you have a rookie quarterback. You have a young team. You are not stacked. You are not a team that is undefeated like the Kansas City Chiefs. And yet you went toe-to-toe with them. You proved to be the better team. You absolutely, even when I thought that game was going to be lost just for a different reason at the end of the game, I was already being like, man, Bo Nix has proved to be the future. The Broncos have proved to be legit. They can stand on their own, even though they lost. It's all good. Then I thought they were going to win, and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. They're about to win, but then they lost. So so honestly, my initial assessment kind of stands. But I mean, they played such awesome situational football. You know, I think Sean Payton called a great game. I mean, it was tough. It was physical. Right? I mean, obviously 16-14. Again, on the road. KC is obviously one of the most difficult places to play. You are going up against Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Spags. And you survived. You looked good. You looked better than other teams against them. I mean, to me, that's the biggest takeaway. I mean, that is such a high-pressure, intense moment for the Denver Broncos, right? On the road, rookie quarterback, going up against the undefeated team, a team that everyone is trying to, you know, mythologize. And you proved to be there. They were never shook. They were never overwhelmed by the moment. Bo Nix never wavered, never showed to be scared. I mean, that is impressive. That is impressive. That was the biggest game of his career, without a doubt. And he stepped up. 22 for 32 touchdowns and 115 rating. He literally played better than Patrick Mahomes. The Patrick Mahomes. I mean, if that's not impressive, I don't know what is then. And he put them in a position to win that game. You know, again, the missed field goal. And again, credit to, you know, the blocked field goal, not missed field goal, the blocked field goal. You know, and again, credit to Kansas City for finding that way, but the takeaway is not that they find a way to beat you in all different ways. Like, that's not the takeaway. The takeaway is this: the Denver Broncos are a significantly better team than people want to give them credit for, and the Kansas City Chiefs are not this unstoppable juggernaut. Okay? They're just not. They're really not. Look what the Ravens did to the Buccaneers. Look what the Ravens did to the Broncos. Now let's look what the Chiefs did to the Buccaneers. And look what the Chiefs did to the Broncos. And the Broncos had a really brutal, tough game against the Ravens. So, I mean, like, this was not an easy game for them. Again, for such a young team with a young quarterback, they don't have this depth. I mean, I just think if you're a Broncos fan, you're obviously going to be disheartened. You're obviously going to be upset. You had that win. You're sad. You're devastated. I totally get it. But the reality is that you should feel great. You really should. You have your quarterback of the future, right? You have your quarterback of the future. You have the culture. This will make you stronger. This is going to make you believe who you are as a team, as a culture. The players, they know they were there. They know they hear a bump in the night and they turned on the lights, man. And they realize Kansas City Chiefs are not these monsters. They're not these gremlins hiding underneath the bed. It's just a tree branch in the wind up against the window. Just a pipes creaking. There's no monsters here. And the Denver Broncos showed that. They showed that. And they show that the era of the Kansas City Chiefs running that division, where they get to just steamroll it and just pick off win after win after win after win after win effortlessly, is officially over. It's officially over. Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos have arrived. The Chargers have arrived. And I guess all three teams will still be able to beat up on the Raiders for the time being until maybe they figure something out. But this division is no longer going to be a walk in the park for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. Denver Broncos are no longer little brother. They had that game. You watch that game. If you didn't know anything about the history of these teams, if you didn't know anything about Patrick Mahomes, Bo Nix, you have no idea about Super Bowls, MVPs, who's a rookie, who's not, who's a coach, who's not, whatever. You would leave that game saying, oh, the Broncos played way better, man. Their defense was better. Their offense was better. They were humming along. They look more composed. They look more comfortable on the road. You would come away from that game saying that the Broncos are the better team. Now, of course, we have history. We understand. We see what Mahomes and Reed and everyone has been able to do. We know what the record is this season and all of that. So obviously, I get that. But the Broncos proved to be the better team. They didn't come away with the win. The best team doesn't always win. Why do you think that there's that saying, may the best team win, may the best man win, right? Because we know that the best team, the best man, whatever it may be, doesn't always win. We know that. That's why baseball, basketball, right? Best of 7 series. That's why those exist. Obviously, it can't exist in football. But the Denver Broncos today were the best team. And that is impressive. That is really, really, really impressive. Because even in the other close games the Kansas City Chiefs had, they proved to be the better team. Right? You still take away from that game and say, oh yeah, the Chiefs were better, right? You would still say, yeah, the Chiefs look way more organized, way more composed, better play calling, better defense, whatever it may be, better quarterback play. This was really the first game to my recollection that you watch this and you say, oh yeah, Broncos are better. And again, that's impressive. I'm not saying overall the Broncos are a better team. I'm not saying overall that the Kansas City Chiefs are a worse team. I'm saying today. And it wasn't just because the Chiefs just had a bad game. Oh, they just had a bad outing. Gee golly. Okay. You want to keep telling yourself that, by all means. You go do that. Best of luck to you. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Denver Broncos coming oh so close to beating the Kansas City Chiefs? Bo Nix, how do you think he looked? How do you feel about the future of this team? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.